Right, so African agriculture is transforming, it's changing. There are new seeds being developed, there's increasing demand, increasing global population. At the same time, also, there's an increasing climate variability and climate change. Now, added to this is also increasing awareness from consumers. Everybody will now want to know where the food he eats comes from. Now, at the same time, African agriculture is operating at just about 20% capacity. In fact, it is said that 60% of the world's arable uncultivated land is in Africa. But the problem is 80% of all agricultural farms in Africa are in the hands of smallholder farmers. Now, these smallholder farmers have several challenges. One is limited information on good agricultural practices. Where do they find available inputs to produce? They have limited cash flow, particularly when they need money to buy agricultural inputs for their farming activities. There is high cost of transactions in rural areas. If you want to transfer money in the rural areas anywhere in Africa, it's very, very difficult, it's very, very challenging to do so. At the same time, there is counterfeit products all over the place. So you buy a fertilizer, you buy a pesticide, you don't know where it's coming from. The quality cannot be ascertained. Also, agribusiness have several challenges. There are several inefficiencies in the supply chain. And so they don't even know the last mile who really the final consumer is. How do you pay them? How do you visibly engage them and promote their services to these farmers? Has been very, very challenging for a number of agribusiness across Africa. Now, you at Esoko addresses these challenges through three main products or services. The first is what we call Geo-information Services. And these services actually provide a two-way communication between agriculture value chain actors. Now, you do this through the spectrum of agricultural activities, from inputs, seeds, pesticides, fertilizers, to production, to post-harvest, to marketing and retail. So you provide typical information services like market prices, weather information, crop tips or extension advisory services, and then access to buyers or markets that farmers can actually leverage on. The second thing we do is through our product you call Insight. Now, Insight facilitates real-time digitalization of agricultural value chain. If you want to profile farmers, you want to map their farm using mobile GIS technologies, our Insight technology allows agricultural value chain actors to be able to do this and do it in real time and more effectively. I mean, this is actually to meet the unmet demand for biometric registration, GIS mapping, and then also allow payments and electronic content delivery to farmers. Now, you're also launching another product, what you call the Green Card Registry, and it's essentially an online portal of all farmers in Africa. That's really what the vision is. To actually develop a registry where all farmers in Africa could be found. So service providers can actually target them, provide them services that they want to access. These services could range from loans, payments, savings, credit, insurance, and pensions. Now, if you look at across Africa, as many as 70 to 80% of African population live in the rural areas. These people are not necessarily served by the consumer market. And so if you are looking to sell anything to these people, it's very, very difficult to do. What you want to do through this Green Card Registry is to allow these people to be profiled, to be better known, and make them more visible and become business compliant, so service providers can reach out to them more effectively and more efficiently to provide them with services. Now let's take a closer look into some of the services that you provide. You provide farmers with market prices, which is, if a farmer who lives in Cairo wants to know the price of rice or soybean in, say, Alexandria, for instance, this farmer could test to our short code, and then instantly get the feedback of the price of this commodity in that market in Egypt. That's what you do. You provide farmers with weather forecast, tropical weather forecast 3 days ahead of time to let farmers know that how the weather is going to be so they can plan better and time their production activities to the weather, to the changing weather patterns. You do what they call base and offer, which allows a farmer to find a buyer. If a farmer has 500 kilograms of soybean to sell, this farmer can put this offer to sell the soybean on the Esoko's platform. And once the platform, the offer is made, a buyer who has a matching profile is automatically notified, so he can then contact the farmer and the two of them can transact a business. You also allow farmers with crop production protocols. I mean, this is very, very important. Across Africa, traditional extension delivery is very, very limited. In fact, they said that 3,000 farmers have access to only one extension officer. And so if a farmer wants an extension officer to visit his farm, there's so many chances that this farmer can never get this person to visit him. So what we do through our technology is to allow these farmers to have access to real-time, accurate, reliable agricultural extension advisory services through mobile phones. And this message goes as SMS, or it can also go as voice SMS. And so voice SMS typically goes in the farmer's local language. So the farmer's typical phone will ring, he will answer the phone, and you start providing advice to this farmer in his or her own local language. You also do this through a call center, where farmers can call and ask for any information on agriculture. If a farmer is interested in knowing what crops to grow, what variety of seeds to use, whatever, he will really want to know, he can just call and speak to a live agricultural expert. This call center was launched in 2014, and today we have received over 200,000 calls. Currently, as I speak, we are receiving almost about 800 calls a day. And farmers are asking all sorts of questions, ranging from agriculture, weather, base and offers, price request. If you take agriculture, most of the questions are centered on post-harvest management, disease and pest control, fertilizer application, seed and variety selection. One thing that's very, very important, when we started the call center, you were thinking that most of the questions that will come to the call center really be on high-value crops, like cocoa, which is really very important commodity in Ghana, like pineapple, like mangoes. But then the so-called staples, like maize, like cassava, like soya, receive many, many calls from farmers. That clearly tells you that even though these crops have been grown over so many generations, there's a very, very big knowledge gap about how best to produce these crops. And farmers, particularly smallholder farmers, are seeking for new ways of getting information to better produce these crops. Now, we also partner with mobile network operators to provide these services to farmers. In Ghana, you launched a program with Vodafone. Vodafone is the second largest mobile network operator. And what they do was to promote the content that Esoko provides to smallholder farmers through a dedicated SIM card. So the farmer buys a SIM card which has Esoko's content already registered on that platform. And so every now and then, this farmer then gets access to a whole range of services, including discounted offers. He can call the call center. He has access to the marketplace where he can sell or buy agricultural produce. And at the same time, they can also call themselves for free. If I'm a member of the club, you're a member of the club, the two of us can talk to each other for free on the Vodafone network. Now, I talk about having the technology to promote agriculture value chain digitization. Now, our insight products solve the fundamental difficulties associated with people-based data collection system. Most organizations collect data. People collect all sorts of data, other farmer data, household data, or even data for research. And traditionally, people use papers to collect this data. This papers really is what you see in the picture here. What we have done is to convert this paper-based data collection system into digital technologies that have been found to be very, very efficient and solve all the challenges associated with paper-based data collection systems, like inaccurate data, transcript errors, the cost, and then also very, very slow. I mean, if you are an agriculture value chain actor living somewhere in the remote area, you want to collect data for your head office in the capital. If you use paper-based data collection system, it's going to take you about 6 months to even get the whole data properly analyzed, sorted, and transmitted. But with real-time data collection services, we are able to do this within a very short time. And as the data is being collected, you can do your analysis in a very short time. So across a number of countries in Africa, you allow farmers to do biometric data, biometric profiling. So you can profile the farmer taking all the 10 fingerprints. You can do market research, send a team to the field, and then train them properly to use smartphones or tablets or any Android device to collect this data. Now, this data could also include GIS mapping. So the farmers' farms could be mapped, your mobile GIS technologies. The data can now be then analyzed in a real-time dashboard that allows value chain leaders to see what is happening in the agricultural value chain. Again, farmers can be given what we call the Esoko Farmer Card, which allows them to record all the transactions in the agricultural value chain. If they sell their produce, they can be recorded onto the card. If they want to buy input, they get recorded. So with time, what's going to happen? We're going to be able to have a transactional history of all the farmers that have ever worked on the Esoko platform before. Now the question is, do all these digital solutions work? Do they really improve the livelihood of smallholder farmers that you want to support? There have been 2 major studies on Esoko price information on the life of farmers across Africa. The first was done by CIDA, which is a French-based research institution. And they found out that farmers who have access to market price information, they're getting 10% more in the prices of their agricultural commodities. Another one was done by New York University, also trying to assess the impact of our market price information on farmers. And then they found something similar to what CIDA was found. they found that farmers are getting 9% increase in prices. But even more important than this study was the fact that there's a huge indirect benefit on farmers who are not even receiving the information services. What happens is if you all live in the same farming community and somebody comes to the community to buy our produce, the person wouldn't know whether I am part of the farmers who are receiving the information or we are not. So they tend to change the way they bargain with every farmer. And by so doing, every farmer who lives in that community tends to get a higher price for their agricultural produce. There was another work that was done in Malawi where this farmer, as you see in the picture, received the price information from Esoko. And she found that by going to the next market, he can actually sell her granite for 90 cents per kilo instead of the 18 cents which was being offered to her at her village. Now, this woman, together with other farmers, mobilized themselves, got a transport, and then they were able to sell the same granite for 90 cents per kilo, which gave her 500% more in what she should have received if she had sold the produce at the community level. Now, if this increase in income, over time, this woman was able to actually change her life a lot, build a new house for herself and her children, and then life began to improve for herself and her family. Now, there's so many social impacts that our price information services have had on the lives of smallholder farmers. There was a workshop that was organized by GIS that tried to understand the impact of these services on farmers' livelihood. And farmers were asked to recount by themselves what benefits they have received from accessing this information. Some said they have faster marketing. Some say they help them to get money quickly. But the one thing really stood out. One farmer said that we don't have problems in our marriage. And everybody kept quiet. How could a simple information service allow a farmer or a couple to actually have problem-free marriage? And this woman said, now I know how much my husband sells our produce. And so when he goes to the market and comes, there's no need for us to argue. Everybody knows what is happening. Because of price transparency, I have the information, he has the information. Everybody knows how much it's going for in the market. That by so doing, you no longer quarrel over money. There's no argument about how much you sold and that you're trying to deceive the family. This is the kind of impact you try to drive across the agricultural value chain by helping smallholder farmers have access to critical information that allows them to have access to services, increase their livelihood, and improve on what they do. So, to bring it all to an end, Esoko has been around for the past 10 years. We've been partnering digital solutions for agriculture and development. We've worked with 1 million farmers across Africa, collected data from, sent about 30 million SMS messaging to farmers' mobile phones, and then collected biometric data from 700,000 farmers all over 15 countries in Africa. And so we are also open for partnership across Egypt. You really want to see people who are really interested in utilizing this kind of technology for smallholder farmers in Egypt. And there's really no point in trying to reinvent the wheel. You're looking for partners who are interested in exploring this kind of opportunities that smallholder farmers can actually use to improve on their income and improve on their livelihood. Thank you very much for your attention.